Hello everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of our application. So this is where we left off last week. So we had Hello World, which is right here. Our app was running. And hopefully you guys have your API keys ready from the movie data website. If you don't have it, I highly recommend that you guys do that before moving forward. So what are we going to do in this one is, so this is where you have to go to get the your API key. So just sign up, go to the API section of this thing, and then they will send you an email which will be your API key in the email. So once you have that, just quit this out from here. What we can do is we can continue in this project. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is let's start first and foremost. Let's change the refactor, the name of this view controller. All right, so what we want to call this one is we want to call this popular movies VC. Okay, so this will change everything, file name and storyboard relationship of that file as well. So that's done. One thing I like to change this right up here. This was not changed. For some reason, it does not change anything that's commented, but everything else is changed. So popular movie here, and if I go to storyboard, it's already set for that as well. So it says popular movie right here. All right, great. So let's start with making a folder. I want to call this our model, and then we need another one for our views. Call this view. I'm going to make one more, call it controller. This is just so we can organize our files that we actually going to work with. So that's our controller. View, we'll get to that. So model. So I'm going to right click on the model and create new file. This will be a Swift file. This is our model. I'm going to call it results, and then enter. So from result, what we need is we're going to call this is struct. I'll call it results, and it's codable. It's results, and this will be movie, and then we have result page, that will be end. Then we have total. This has a key called total pages. So this is to keep track of how many total pages we have in this file. This is there is an also let total results, which is also a an integer. Now it's complaining that we don't have anything called movie, so let's create that model file. Again, new file. I'm going to call this movie. Same thing we'll do here. We'll call it a struct movie, and it's codable. So let ID, movie has an ID, that's an int, and then our movie will also have a title. So we're going to say title, which is also a string. We have an overview of the movie, which is like storyline or the plot of the movie. So, short description, that's a string. Poster path is also a string. And then we have background path. It's also a string. We also have vote count. So, whatever the total vote, I think that is an int. And we have a vote average, which will be a double. And we also have release date, which is a string. They're returning it as a string. That's that. Now what we need is, what is the complaint here? Type results, yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna clean the code. All right, so no more complaints. So we have our model file ready. So that's movie. This is results. Now, let me make another folder. So if you go to the main movie folder, create a group. I'm gonna call it API. I'm gonna right click on API, create new file, and we'll call it API. So this is our API data that we're gonna fetch. Class API doesn't conform to anything. First we need base URL, right? To connect to our API. So we need base URL. That will be equal to this. And then there is a poster URL, which will be poster URL is something that we have to use because I will show you in a second when we get there. The API is just returning the last portion of the image that is stored on the web page. So to access that image, we need a full URL. So they provide you this URL, which is right here, and then you would plug in the poster path, which would be this background or poster, either one. All right, so API, let's call it a class func fetch popular movies. Okay, so we're fetching popular movies. We're going to say on success at escaping. It's a function that returns nothing, or I can simply type this, whether I do this or type the word void, they're both identical. What we're going to return here, we're going to return our result. Okay, we're going to return this results. Now let's do a URL string equals to, we're going to do the string interpolation, call it base URL, popular movies, right? So popular question mark API key, and that's equal to API key. I already have that, so you need the API key to process the request. So let's create a guard let URL equals URL from a string, URL string, else just say fatal error. I'm going to say unable to get URL. Okay, then we need to import Alamo Fire. I'm going to say af.request from URL.response in. So this is, I'll tell you what's going on here. So this is a class method that takes a URL and returns a response. And this is coming from this framework. We're going to say switch statement. Switch. We'll say response dot result, right? So response has a value called result. I'm going to say case dot success. If it is a successful response, then get the data out of the result. And then I will say guard let data equal data, because this is an optional, so I'm unwrapping it here. Else fatal error. And say here no data return. A better word would be unable to parse data from API. Then we'll say guard let movies, or rather results, equal try. You know what, let me create one. So let's create private let coder equal JSON decoder. And we'll say our coder key decoding strategy is convert from snake case. Okay, and we'll say coder dot decode results dot self from data, which is this data right here. Else fatal error. Unable to parse data into JSON. Right, so it's a JSON, so it's returning as a JSON model. So now we'll say dispatch. We don't have to say dispatch, but just for the sake of it, I'm just saying, you know, on the main thread, I want to call my function on success, which is right here, and I'm going to pass in my results. Now, that's that. So the second case would be case is failure. Let error, and we'll print the error. Localized description. So we'll just print the error. If everything up to here is failed, it's going to fall to this one. It's going to capture the error, and then we're going to print that error. Okay. So if this looks good, and we go to our view controller, which is right here, and we call API dot just build and make sure everything's clean. Yep. API dot fetch popular movies. I'm going to say results in, and we'll print our results dot pages, right? So whatever total number of page or the page number of that result is going to be printed out. So at this point, we're going to run the app and see what happens. As expected, okay, so data is there. We have no problem with data. So what went wrong? It's possible that I made a mistake here. So this is results, page, total pages, total results. Now, movie, so that's good. Movie had ID, which is an int. A title is the string. Over, so see I missed an E. Overview. Poster path, background path, vote count, average vote, release date. Everything else looks good. So let's do it again. So it was a mistake. I you know, the E was missing here. Okay, still something is not right. So we still have the data, which is good. Vote count here again. All right, let me pause for a second. Let me figure this out. Okay, so this key right here, this is supposed to be backdrop, not background. I had it like this. I had it background path. This one was background path. So if I run it, it's going to fail again. See, it's failed. Unable to parse data. So if I change that to backdrop, and then it will work. For some reason I was just putting background. So number of page 1. Okay, so we're good. Oof, thank you. All right, so we're getting the data back. Now let's get rid of this, close this, go here and look for collection view. The first one, drag and drop. Go to this option right here and pin it to 0, 0, 0, 0. All sides. And we're gonna call this, say 100 by 100. I need 5 here, 0, 0. 5 on the left, 5 on the right. Custom 100 and 100. Now select this, go to plus, image view, and we'll put an image view here. Okay, now for this cell right here, go to the inspector and call it movie cell. Go to your view controller. On the top, I mean, I just like to do this, identifier equal movie cell. Okay. Come here and say extension, popular view controller, UI collection view. Data source. That's UI collection view data source. Go back to storyboard. Control and drag from your collection view while holding control, and go to this entry point and select data source. Okay. Go back to your view controller. On the top, create an IB outlet, private vvar collection view, UI collection view. Go back to storyboard. Now drag from the entry point to your collection view and let go and select collection view. So now we hooked up all our stuff, and let's just run it one more time for the sake of it. So we have a complaint. Okay, so it's saying use of undeclared type UI collection view data source, right? So it's collection view. We want number. Why is it not auto completing? Xcode sometimes is just finicky, just decides to have its own brain, doesn't want to help. Just rebuild the project, make sure everything is good. Yep, so which is good now. So it's saying, hey, put in some stubs here. All right, so we're gonna call it cell. This is our cell. Say equal to collection view dot DQ okay. Return movies dot count, otherwise 0. So let's create, it's looking for private var movies equals empty string. You know what, I'm gonna call it an optional. So we're gonna return movies and the count, which is total number of movies, that many rows that we need. And if it's empty, we're going to just return 0. So that's that. And in here, we're going to say self.movies equal results dot results. So a better name will be data dot results. Yeah. It's kind of like redundant results. So that's that. I'm going to say self.collectionView dot reload data. That's a method. Let me just clean it. With this, we should have no issue. It's not. Let me just shut this down. Shut this down. Start Xcode again. Just want to reopen the project again just to see what happens. Okay, so now it's working. I'm going to say identifier index path. So this is the identifier of the cell. We called it right here. And then we have to return this cell. Return the cell. So we're all good now. What we need to subclass our cell so we can hook up to this image view. So let's do that. We're going to call view, create new file, Cocoa Touch class, movie cell, UI collection view cell, and next. In here, I'm going to say var movie. It's a movie, and optional. The did set if let movie equal movie, print movie dot title. let's make an IB outlet for our movie image. UI image view. We go to storyboard and go to our collection view, and then go to the movie cell. Come right here, the one in the middle, and apply the class that we just created. And then right click on it, grab the movie image, and put it on the image view. In the view controller, we're going to say as. So this is the cell, right? We're dequeuing a cell. We want this cell to be as movie collection view cell, right? We're gonna force unwrap it to be like that. Cell.movie equal movies index path dot item, right? So that's an optional. We're going to pass that optional to our movie variable. And now we should see all the movie title printing out. So let's see if that works. So as you can see here, these are all movie titles right here, right? So that's printing. Now our goal is to go back here, and we'll say first we need to import Kingfisher. That's the framework we added right here. If we go to pod file, Kingfisher, this is the one we use for fetching the images, right? But first I'm going to create an extension here on URL. No, on string. This is going to make it easy for us to work with this. So our URL equals URL. It's an optional. It returns a string with poster URL, and then whatever thing that we calling it on, which will be a string, and that's why we call it self, right? So if I go here and call it movie image dot kf Kingfisher set image with resource, and what's the resource? Movie dot poster path dot URL. Okay, so this URL is this variable right here. It's returning a URL. But it says cannot convert, so we have to say URL string, and now it should be fine. So now if we run the app, we should see our collection view with the images of the movies. Yeah, as you can see, we have 3, 9, 20, almost 20 images. So let's stop there, go back to our view controller. I'm going to cut this code and create a private function, call it fetch, and we'll just paste that here, and we call fetch right here. Now I want let width equal view.frame.size.width minus 20 divided by 3. Then I want to say layout equal collection view layout as UI collection view flow layout. And I'm going to say layout dot item size is equals CG size width and height. width is the width, and the height would be 190. There we go. Okay, if we run this now, apparently we're saying, hey, we need 3 column. So see how this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies, and we can't really tell which one is which. So now we need to go to storyboard and fix that. So first and foremost, click on the collection view, go to this ruler thingy right here, and this automatic, you have to change it to none. We don't want this to be automatic. And then stop and run the app again. By this, now we have a better looking view, right? So we have 3 columns, column 1, 2, and 3. But there's a lot of gap in between. We need to fix that. How do we fix that? Come to, this is the cell, collect on the image view, and we need to pin it. We need to pin it on all sides. And then change the ratio back here to 0. To 0. Double click on that. To 0. Double click on that. 0. Same thing here, enter 0. And then I come back here again, selecting the movie, and I want aspect ratio set as well. Now if I run it, hopefully this will take effect. Although it's all this printing out that, hey, the layout have some issues, but that we can fix later on. But now we have a better looking view. So we got 1, 2, 3 movies equally spaced from all 4 sides. And that's our video for this week. So again, we're gonna make 4 of these slides. So this is the first one. So let me just quickly do this. I'm gonna put this, go to the editor, embed in navigation controller, and then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna say embed that into a tab bar controller. So this tab item is popular movies. So if I run it again, I'll tell you what I did. You see this is a tab bar. It says popular. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs. The popular, in theater, top rated, and then yeah. So this is the end of this video. In the next video, we'll create more view controllers. So it'll be a lot of repetitive stuff. So this is basically our view controller. That's the beginning of it. But we're going to create a few more of these with different the API function, which is going to fetch different movies based on what we passed right here. So we passed in popular. So if I go now playing, so this will, so nothing's going to break. It's going to work fine. So it's showing me all the movies that are, playing in theater right now. So if I go top rated, so it's going to show me all the top rated movies in the database. So these are the top rated movies, right? Nothing changed because the data coming back from the movie is exactly the same. It's just that what we say here matters. Okay, so again, to recap what we did in this video, we created a model. That's the result. Then we have movies, created a Cocoa Touch class, subclassing UI collection view cell, and we went to our storyboard and we said to our cell that, that cell, we're gonna use this class so we can get hold of this movie view or title or anything that we put in the cell. Then we embedded our view controller into navigation, and then the navigation into tab bar controller. to get a look something like this. So we would have different tabs to click on, and then we have a navigation bar. The other thing we did was API. So that's the function right now. We're going to have more of these functions to have different view controllers to operate through these functions. All right. We also going to have, let me just run this one. So this is something that I've been working on. So see how this is continuous scrolling. See this? It's a continuous scroll. So if I go to movie detail, that's our detail page. This is the cast of the movie, and these are the recommended movies. So if I go on Scarlett Johansson, so that's her, you know, basically these are all the movies that she worked in, and we can go back like this. So this is continuous scrolling. See, same with this one, continuous scrolling. So we're going to work on this. That's the work in progress. So that's something, it will look something like this at the end. So we're going to have all the way, and we capturing the page number, which is right here. How many pages are there? So we're following that, and we're incrementing our page, continue to scroll and keep fetching the data. So we'll build that in the next video. We'll have another view, and we'll put two views, and we'll make it look like this. Okay. That's it for this video. Again, if you guys have any question, leave it in the comment. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to let me know. And if you have any thoughts that what we should do, please let me know so we can work on this together. Again, thank you so much, and please subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video.